Okay, I'm going to show you kind of from start to finish how I set up to spray here. So I've got my Tritech T5 and my air compressor. I wait to hook up the air line till I've got all my paint, coming through my line correctly. Okay, so I've got a hopper full of black paint. So I've got my paint in here. What I'll do is take off my air cap. Just run it like this. And sprayer all the way down. I have my line this turned to come out my line. If I need to prime it through the prime tube, I will, but most times I don't have to. So I'll just slowly turn up the pressure. I'll hold the trigger in first, slowly pull up the pressure, and I start getting water that's in the line right now. And I basically just run that till I get paint. I don't like to run my pump too high, or we get splatters everywhere. There comes some air. Okay. Now as you blow against the side of this bucket, you can see it's thickening up and getting paint. The reason I just kind of keep going there for a little bit is because that first little bit of paint might be diluted too much. What I'll do then is go in here and just get everything flowing good, so there's absolutely no air or water in the paint anymore. If there's a little bit of water now, it's okay. Okay, so that's that. I'm ready to hook up my air. So basically, come down here to this gauge. What I'm going to do is turn my air down. I want to be at about 20 pounds for this particular coating, between 20 and 25. All right, so I'm starting at about 20, and then what I'll do is just adjust the fluid pressure till I'm atomizing good. Probably right around 1,000. Sometimes I have to go a little more, sometimes a little less. Right now I'm at 5, 6, 7. Just going to start right there at 700 fluid pressure and about 20 psi of air. I'll let that air compressor build up a little bit. While that's building up, come over here. So what I'm spraying today is black. It's a Farrow and Ball railings color. This is the 851, Renner 851. NTR means it's a clear base. This is a 10 sheen, using the 1400 catalyst to make it a 2K. I'm adding Renner retardant. I'm adding 1 ounce of retardant. And the reason I do that is it's not like I'm worried about retarding the paint or slowing it down, except I found that adding retarder helps with the drying of the paint on your paint tip. Okay, so when you have paint building up on here, this air that's coming out of your air cap can tend to dry paint on here. Now, that can happen with almost any sprayer. Adding about 1 ounce of retarder to your paint really significantly reduces that. You still want to kind of keep an eye on that. I'm going to use the red air cap for this because I basically reduced this coating down a little bit. It's the 851. I've reduced it about 10%. And so I'm going to use the red air cap. The blue air cap is for high viscosity materials like primers. You can alternate between the two and figure out what works for you, but I kind of like the red for top coat when it's thinned down. I like to keep these things, I get these at Harbor Freight. They just work good for cleaning out tips. I like to make sure my tip is clean before I start. You should have a nice spray pattern. Okay, wear something on your eyes when you're doing that. All right, so that's Renner 851, 10% catalyst, 10% reduction. using 1% retarder, 9% water. Okay. I've cleaned my filter in here. I do that every time when I'm finished. I'm going to use a double orifice tip. This is the 10/30, which is basically a 310. So for top coats like this, pigmented top coats, a 10 tip or an 11 tip work great. I like the double orifice tips for the darker colors. They do help reduce micro bubbles. The 3 is the fan pattern. 3 meaning it's half the fan pattern, meaning it gives about a 6 to 8 inch pattern. Some people like the 4 10s with the 8 to 10 inch pattern. I personally kind of like the 3s. So you can adjust your pattern from about 6 to 8 inches using this right here. All right, we're going to do just a little test right here on the wall to see if we have any tails. Let me see where we're at. Okay, 700 fluid, 20 pounds air. I'm going to have to probably adjust. That's actually not bad. That's not bad. I don't have many tails. I've got, kind of a feathered out pattern on the side. I'm just going to see what happens if I go to 1,000. I'd like to keep the pressure as low as I can. All right, now I'm at 1,000. I like that a little better. It's got a little sharper pattern on the end. Okay, 1,000 PSI fluid, 20 pounds air. Let's just see what happens if we go to 25 air. Don't know if that'll make much difference, but. Yeah, 20 to 25 air is pretty good. I'll back down somewhere between 20 and 25. So there's always this kind of debate about fluid pressure for waterborne coatings. Should you go high pressure with low air, like 10, 15 pounds of air, or should you go low pressure in the fluid and then high air, which is kind of what they do with solvent-based stuff. Well, a lot of people are finding with water-based, it's the opposite actually works a little bit better. A little higher fluid pressure, a little less air. So you kind of got to start and just, trial, depending on how thick your coating is, will determine a little where you're at. But I kind of like, personally, I like to start with my air. I want to be not more than about 20, 25 pounds of air. I mean, you could go down to maybe 10, 15 pounds of air and then crank up your fluid pressure. I don't know. In the end, I think it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Either way, you have a lot more pressure coming out of your gun. You're going to have overspray anyway. So, I don't know. For me, kind of the sweet spot is about halfway in between. I don't go as high as some people do. I've heard of people that go up to 1,600 with the fluid pressure. So I'm right around about half of that. I'm between 800 and 1,000. And then my air, I tend to be at about 20, 25. So that's what works for me. Different things work for different people. And that's great. Yep, so double orifice tip for dark colors, 310, and let's do some spraying. So you see this tip shouldn't have any paint coming out on it. Right? If you have a problem with that, something's not put together right, or it's not tight enough, or just keep your eye on that for dried up paint. So that second mist coat I put over there, I'm going a little higher with my gun. helps to just break up any bubbles as well.